Welcome to About You. I'm Connie Hogan. During the pandemic, many business opportunities evolved, as we would say, as the old saying goes, out of necessity, which is the mother of invention. My guest today perfectly illustrates this concept. Tanya Hill is the president and CEO and actually founder of Forever Fresh, which is a company that manufactures and provides disposable undergarments. But this is not the only hat that Tanya wears. She's known around town for her business acumen as well as her leadership roles in many philanthropic organizations, particularly with women and children. Thank you, Tanya, for being here today.
Oh, hi,
I know you're so busy, so welcome.
Great being here.
I know there's so much to talk about. We're going to talk about Forever Fresh, the big thing, last.
Okay.
Because you want to tell us about some of the more recent developments.
Sure.
Because there's some very exciting things that are interesting. So we'll start out with your background. I know you were born in Kansas.
Yes, a
Tell
lot
us
of people
the whole
don't
story.
know that.
Yeah, well, Jayhawk, right?
Yeah, you know what, my dad was in the Air Force, and so we, naturally, my siblings, my two brothers, we were all born in different states.
I knew that, yeah.
So I was born in Wichita on the base there.
Okay.
And moved to Tennessee and then transitioned from there to Michigan. So I've been in Michigan probably since I was maybe 7 years old. So
20 years.
Yeah, I like that. 20 years.
There you go.
So, so I, grew up here, went to school here, married, had kids, remarried, and started a business, Forever Fresh. And I had some ups and downs with that.
I remember when I first met you, which is a long time ago.
Yeah, quite a bit. And after, during one of those transitions, I had an opportunity to get involved at the airport as a concessionaire. And so I have partners. We have a great partner, Paradis Lagardère, which is based out of Atlanta. They are actually in about 100 airports, but we're their partners in Michigan. My partner, Phil Pierce, and I. And we co-own 16 food and beverage concepts
16,
at the airport and 2 retail locations. So they are a mix of local and national brands. For example, we have P.F. Chang, we have Chick-fil-A, we have a local Plum Market, which is, our big hit at the airport.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Atwater, a brewery, Air Margaritaville. So there are a lot of brands that we have there.
It's awesome. I know you had Cat Cora.
Cat Cora, yes, that's one of our brands.
I love that one.
Yeah.
You and I have been there, yes.
Very nice restaurant.
So describe, obviously, I remember during the pandemic how you were, everybody that was related to travel.
It was painful.
It was, tell us, that you can say on the air.
So if you can imagine, right, if you can imagine, and we have a phenomenal management team. But they were put to the test. I recall vividly when we got the notice that we had to shut down. And you can imagine trying to shut down 16 brands in one day.
All of them.
Everything had to shut down.
So that would have been like March 2020?
March. Right, that was in March.
I remember,
And so you can't,
Can't imagine.
What could you do with all of that food? So what we could not freeze, we gathered all of it up, our team, brought it to our office, called all the employees, and we just had it lined up, and we said, come and get whatever you want. And our employees took the food home.
Well, that's good.
And so that really, at least it didn't go to waste.
Well, I can relate to that because just day before yesterday, I was calling every charity for my freezer because I was out of electricity because of the storm.
Oh, you should have called me. We could have grilled and had a good time, right?
I should have, yes.
Well, see, my husband actually has a generator, so the generator saved us.
Oh, okay.
So he was,
I didn't know that.
he was, and it's ironic because he had solar panels, and he decides we're going to get bigger solar panels because I'm going to go all electric and get an electric vehicle. And so he takes the panels down, and the very next day, we have a blackout.
Oh, are you kidding?
So the generator did save us, but I did have friends, unfortunately, that had
Like
to
me, yeah.
throw away food because.
Well, I had
2
just filled everything. That always happens. It's
wow.
like where it's completely filled with probably, $700 worth of steaks and
Oh, my
stuff.
gosh.
But my power came back on. I think
Yeah,
for my
me too.
karma. I said it was my karma because I was actually on the phone with Lighthouse of Oakland County, and it's like,
Wow.
oh well, we can't do this, and I'm like, well, good, you're not getting it anyway because my power just came back on.
Wow.
But it's a pain when
Yeah.
that and the massiveness of
Yeah.
the pandemic.
So yeah, so that was very tough for us. Even with that, we still had employees working
Right, I was
because
gonna say, yeah.
at that point you were trying to clean and do the things that you really didn't have time to do when you're open, because we're open 365 days a year.
That has got to be. Yeah.
So it was very challenging, and then we got through that phase, and then we started. Managers started getting COVID. And shutting down. And I mean, it got so bad. We went through a couple of rough spots where a couple of the restaurants, so many of the employees had COVID at the same time that we had to shut the whole restaurant down. And so I'm pretty relieved. I'm cautiously optimistic that we're gonna continue the trend that we're doing now. So it's a lot better.
So when did you fully reopen? From March
wow.
2020 you went down, or was there one time, or was it
Well,
staggered?
we had to phase in the openings.
That's what I thought, yeah.
Because we didn't have the employees, and we're like, where are they? So
That you've still got to have that problem,
and it's still
right?
a challenge. We
Yeah.
we employ right now a little over. We have about over 500 employees, a little
For
bit
all
over.
16?
Yeah,
Okay.
but we really are about 100 short.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so we
I don't
really-
know how these companies are doing that.
Yeah, it's a challenge.
Well, look at, Kroger's, every time I'm in Birmingham, they're like, do you know people? I'm like, no, I don't know anybody that would want, but they're just
Right.
desperate to get,
Well,
especially the
and
grocery
too,
stores.
and the side that people don't see is the supply chain issues.
That's what
And
they
we're
were
still
saying,
having them.
yeah.
So, and that affects the restaurant business. You've probably experienced it where you have to modify the menu
Oh,
because you may
yeah.
not be able to get a certain ingredient that you need for a certain menu. So we've done a lot of that as well.
Kind of like punting, right?
Yeah.
So right now, we'll just kind of finalize the part about the airport and then move on to some of the other
Yeah.
subjects in your repertoire of subjects. But everything's going great at the airport.
Everything's
and you
going
love
great.
that project. I know how
Yes.
excited you were when you got
Yeah,
that whole thing.
it's exciting. I
It
love
is
serving
exciting.
people.
It is
I'm a people
exciting.
person. So we have all of our locations open, but the one, Bigalora, we closed. We're going to reconcept it, so it's going to be a surprise.
I'm
so,
supposed to go there next week. Not the airport. The
yeah,
one
but the
over
one,
in
yeah, I
Southfield,
love the food there.
I love it. Yes.
But we are going to reconcept that
Really?
location,
Okay.
and it will be a surprise. So the next
You
time
can't
you
tell
come
me.
into the
Okay.
airport,
I will have to text you. Yes.
you text
Should
me and
be
I'll let
soon,
you know.
yes.
But it's
So-
coming next year.
Yay! I know there's always so much exciting. Okay, so let's put on the hat of philanthropic time.
Yes.
And I know you and I have been involved. Well, first of all, let me just tell the audience that you and I met through kind of the philanthropic world, through
Right.
Leadership Detroit,
Right.
which was class whatever it was. It was like 20 years ago.
23, the best class,
The
Connie.
class, but it wasn't 23 years ago, 20 years ago.
It was class
21
23.
And 21 years ago,
Yeah.
because it was when we started. We started just a few days after 9/11. I will not
Wow.
forget that because I was with GM and we were doing all these vehicles for the New York Police Department, Fire
Wow.
Department. And I was leaving the meetings to
Yep.
go make phone calls. But anyway, it was a long time ago. So we met through Leadership Detroit, and since then, both of us have been involved in multiple charities.
Right.
But you have really done a lot with children's charities and women's, particularly NABO,
Yes.
the National Association of Women Business Owners.
Yes,
Talk
I
about
just
that.
I was a local president
Right.
here for almost 2 years. And then I got on the national board. I served on that board for 5 years.
Okay, wow.
I transitioned off of that board. At the time I was involved with 6 charities. So that made 7. And so I thought, okay, I'll get off that board and I'll only have 6. And then I got recruited for First Tee of Greater Detroit,
Oh,
which
that
I'm a
sounds
big golfer, so
exciting. Right.
I couldn't turn that down. And I love working with
I bet that
First
looks.
Tee.
I've just seen a little bit of that. Tell us about that. That's
well,
a
you know,
new one, kind of.
Yeah, it's First Tee Greater Detroit. Well, First Tee is a national organization, and they reinvigorated the local chapter, got new board members, and our goal is to eventually build a learning center for the kids. And so we're doing a fundraiser. We just had our Ben Hogan Golf Classic for the kids, and it was so much fun.
Where was that?
It was at the Country Club of Detroit.
Oh my gosh,
in
you should
Grosse
have told
Pointe.
me. Oh,
You know what? I'm so sorry. I'll get you
We're
next
not
year.
friends anymore.
I'll
Get
you
off my
next year.
set. No, I'm kidding.
So,
Oh my God.
so I'm involved in that, and there are 6 other charities. I'm very involved with Thaw. I'm the board
yeah,
chair,
Thaw, yes.
and I love that organization because they provide service. You know, they help people in all 83 counties. I don't know if people know that, but every
I
county
know I'm
in
familiar because I
Michigan.
knew Ed Snyder was involved. You know.
Every county in Michigan we service,
Oh,
and so
wow.
that is very, very gratifying for me. And DTE just actually had a fundraiser, a golf outing for Thaw, and it was I think it was at Stone Ridge. But anyway, we played, great time, and raised a lot of money for Thaw.
So, okay, so those are those 2. Now, what's your role now with NAWBO, though, with the national?
Oh, okay. So I transitioned off the board here and the national board, but NAWBO has a nonprofit for girls called NAWBO Excel.
Okay.
And we support young women, with their entrepreneurial journey, with, just basic learning skills, job skills. And right now, our organization is mentoring students at Oak Park High School. And we have so much fun with the girls. We take them, different trips. A lot of corporations support us. I don't know if I could mention the corporations' names, but
Sure.
anyway, General Motors is a big
Yeah, right.
sponsor.
You can mention them. I mention them once in a while.
Oh, okay, good. Well,
In vain. No, I'm
they've
kidding.
been a great supporter for the girls, and
Good.
we were we've taken them to field trips to the museums. We took them to the Detroit Tigers. Ellen Zerang hosted the girls one day, and after COVID we had to stop, of course, the trips. We just had
Oh, yeah.
a recent trip this past May, where we took them to see the King Tut exhibit at the Charles H. Wright Museum,
Oh,
and
cool.
it was.
I bet they loved
They
that,
loved
yes.
it. They actually loved it, and so that's one that's near and dear to me
Yeah.
because the young girls they're so hungry to. Experience
things,
life
yeah.
and get exposure to things. And then I'm involved with the Detroit Children's Choir. They teach children music and a lot of life skills through music. And so I'm able to use my job hat and kind of work with the kids because we'll let them come to the airport and sing carols.
Oh, cool.
And the passengers love it.
I
The kids
bet.
love it. And we'll
You
host
collect
them
so for
for
many
lunch.
dots around.
Yeah, I
business
do.
slash,
I
yeah.
really enjoy
That's
that.
awesome. So let's talk about the biggie, the Forever Fresh, and I want to talk about kind of the new opportunity that we talked
Yeah.
about earlier, where the immigrants are coming over the southern border in
Yep.
Texas, and they have camps. We know in camps when we see on the news. So your product has been exploding in that business,
Yeah,
which you would never
know,
have thought about.
It's interesting, and I tell entrepreneurs all the time, being an entrepreneur is hard.
Oh, I know.
And
Everything's hard.
Everything, but when you're trying to launch something, it's really hard. I got a little sample here, and you
Yeah,
got to make
put
sure you
those
try
up,
them.
yes.
So these are the disposable undergarments. We currently sell them through 3 national distributors. School Health is one of our larger ones. McGill and School Nurse Supply. They're all based in Illinois, ironically. But they distribute this product. We're in about 17 states. Texas is one of our larger areas that we service, and probably because of that. So during COVID, where a lot of businesses were experiencing, even my other business at the airport, you know, downtime, I was getting in back orders.
I know,
with this
because I know
product.
when I was talking to you one day, and it was like, oh, you were so engaged with the airport stuff. And then
Right,
you're like,
right.
I hadn't even thought about Forever Fresh, because that had kind of overridden that, basically, in your world. And then
Exactly.
you were like, oh, this is the biggest thing. I said, well, hello, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, so we have a children's line. I forgot to bring that one, Tidy Fresh, and we have the Forever Fresh line. And so anyone that's in a dire situation, you know,
Right, I mean, everybody. This applies to everybody.
yeah, or an emergency,
Or
I
even
mean,
a
women
golf
travel,
course or whatever.
absolutely,
you know.
on
Especially the golf course, because all those little Porto things that you don't even want to go
right?
into.
That you don't even want to talk about,
no,
yet alone go into,
no.
right? So, but really, it was fascinating to see that, you know, during that time, I was really busy with this, because the airport, we had closed a restaurant,
so good that
God
worked
kind of worked things
That's
out,
exactly
you know,
right, yeah.
in my favor in that instance, and we're really excited about it. So what we've done is launched most recently our B2C, so customers can now buy them directly online, because I had been in retail before, and for small businesses, getting into retail space can be very challenging.
When you say B2C, business to customer.
Business to customer,
Okay.
correct. And so I've been business to business
Right, that's
all
right,
these
I know
years,
that,
because it's much easier to do. You don't have to pay for marketing and, you know, space on the shelves in the stores. So it's a lot easier to deal with. And it's when they buy, they're buying for a customer.
Because I know you were with Walgreens for a while, or different
Walgreens,
places.
Kmart, you name it, I've tried it. And but a lot of the small businesses now are seeing the advantage of doing it online. And quite frankly, a lot of the larger companies, I think of Pier 1. And I was speaking with someone about them, and I said, they're closed. They said, oh no, they're online now. So a lot of the larger companies are seeing the advantage, and for a small company, it really levels the playing field. Because when you're ordering, you know, you could be ordering from an Amazon size or from a Forever Fresh size.
So a customer could go directly to your website.
They can go directly to our
or they could
website.
go, let's just say, whichever, Amazon or whatever, that it would come up. Like if somebody searched for disposable. it would
We're
come
not
up.
on Amazon,
Okay, but
they would have to go to our website, foreverfresh.com.
it just have to be yours, just
Yeah,
yours.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So it wouldn't be with Walmart or Amazon or
No,
I got
we're
it.
not,
I got
and
it.
we're not pursuing retail now by choice, because I like the way
I
we're doing
understand.
business
Okay.
now.
I didn't get that. Okay. That's so interesting. So really then, for the business you have like at the border or with the states, whichever state.
Yeah.
That is sold differently though. That is business to business.
That's
a
right. That's
separate
sold my
model.
distributors, correct. So my distributors are selling that product, and you know, my company is, you know, we're a certified woman-owned company, minority-owned
Right, well, I
company,
knew that, yeah.
but we're also certified with the government. We have our own cage code, so we can actually sell to the government. But quite frankly, I like selling to my distributors and let them sell to the government.
I can
For right now,
imagine.
yeah.
I can imagine. Yeah.
It's a lot easier, you know, because even when this took off, I still had challenges because you know, we produce like almost all of the medical companies, because this is made of a non-woven spun bonded polypropylene fabric, the same thing that the hospital caps and gowns are made of, and 90% of them are made offshore.
Okay.
You know.
Now is yours or?
Yeah, that's just
Okay.
that industry. And so I got
imagined.
caught up in the supply chain issue, which is why I got into a back order, because my distributor started ordering all this product during the pandemic, and you know, the manufacturers basically around the world were stalled or closed because everybody was dealing with COVID. And so I had to wait until things picked up and resumed to get my product.
Okay, that would make sense.
Yeah, but you know, but you know, my distributors were patient because that was happening worldwide. It was just
Oh, it
something
had to be. I mean, you
totally
wouldn't have
out of
been
my
exempt
control.
from it,
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
So, and I just thought of this. I don't want to put you on the spot, but like if you were doing a sales campaign, how would you distinguish your product from, let's say, is it Depends or whatever?
Oh, I'm
those-
glad you asked that.
Okay, I knew you'd be ready. I was hoping you'd be ready.
So Depends is more of a diaper, an
Okay.
adult diaper.
And these are beautiful. I know because I've
These
got
are
these, yeah.
just underwear.
And they're pretty.
Yeah, thank you.
We won't model them because we would get arrested over here. But yeah.
And they're comfortable. They're very breathable. And so if you, when they go to our website, we have a video that actually shows the alternative use for the product. All of our undergarments, the adults have a little pocket. So let's just say you have a incontinent issue, a minor incontinent issue, but you don't want to wear a diaper because you don't want the bulkiness, you know, of a diaper, right? You can actually thread an incontinent pad in the pocket, or you can lay it on top. So now you've converted that undergarment into an incontinent undergarment.
Okay.
And the convenience of it is if you're out, you just have one of these in your pocket,
Right.
your purse.
It's nice how
And
they're so.
yeah, we purposely kept them, you know, it cost a little more,
Compact, yeah.
but we wanted to have the convenience for the customers so that, you know, wherever they were, they could, you know, they could change if they
Yeah,
had
just
to.
it really looks like a little Kleenex thing.
Yeah, yeah,
You know,
yeah.
or anything of that nature, right?
And they're lightweight, they are.
I know they're nice. I've used them. Yeah.
And paper is considered, you know, it's environmentally friendly.
Right.
They will, you know, you bury them under normal soil conditions, they're going to degrade.
And Depends aren't like that.
Yeah.
Or
Well,
are
it's
they?
a lot of plastic, so I
Okay.
can't
I
speak
don't
for
know.
them.
No, okay.
I can't say one way or the other, but I do know
I don't
there's
know.
some
I just
plastic
thought of this,
involved, but there's no
You know what yours
plastic.
is. Yeah.
Exactly, and we have latex-free elastic too because a lot of folks have latex sensitivities. Yeah, and so we're very conscious of that, especially for the kids.
Well, this is so exciting. I mean, I
Thank you.
remember this project from like
It's
I said
been a
when I
long
met
time, right?
you, and it was like, and then we reconnected through a nonprofit, and it was like I remember her disposable underwear.
Right.
It was like Tanya with which is a huge thing. Right?
Yeah, we're
a
excited.
Huge business opportunity.
It really is, and I hired a great marketing team, and they are taking me to the to the
And it's
21st
changing all
century,
the
right?
time. Oh my
so we've
God.
got a new logo coming out. We're on Instagram now, and they're even going to put me on TikTok, Connie. Can you
Oh my
believe
gosh,
that?
absolutely, I believe it. So speaking of which, I want to transition a little bit. We have some time left to and we have an event coming up on the Warriors Trust Fund.
Oh,
Talk about
yes.
that's a very exciting,
So,
timely
yeah,
issue.
and that's another near and dear to
Yeah, I know,
me.
'cause your daughter
My
and
oldest
everybody.
daughter and Judge Nancy Grant co-founded the Warriors Trust Fund. My daughter was a parole agent at the time before she transitioned out of that role into some government roles. But she was working with veterans and noticed that that a lot of them were kind of coming back into the system. And these were veterans that she saw that had issues due to combat
Like
service.
PTSD and
correct,
all that,
correct.
yeah.
And so she went to the judge and said, we need to start a combat veterans court just for combat veterans, because there are veterans courts.
Okay.
But there are very few. I think we are one of two, unless there's some that have come up since we started, that we only focus on combat veterans. And so we have serviced about 45 veterans, and they have to qualify to go through this program. And our nonprofit actually supports them while they're in the program. So they may have to have consistent drug testing, for example.
okay.
So the Warriors Trust Fund pays for that.
Okay.
Or they may, the one thing I really loved is we have, this was before COVID, so we will have to reconvene it. They had yoga classes.
Oh, really? Okay.
And Marseille, when she was president of the Warriors Trust Fund, she did some research and found out that it's very therapeutic for veterans to, that are
I would
going
see
through,
that, yeah.
you know, it's therapeutic for all of us, right?
I was gonna say,
but
I mean, yeah.
especially veterans. And so the court allowed us to have a room so that when they would come for their hearings, they could leave and they could bring their families. We hired a yoga coach.
Oh, wow.
We purchased the mats.
Now, is this up here in Pontiac?
Yes, yes, and so they could go in, and it was funny. I remember the judge saying in one of the graduation classes that they had to cancel. Something happened, and they had to cancel one of those yoga sessions. And at the time, we didn't know that the soldiers, the veterans, really liked, you know, going to yoga, right? And they were like, there's no yoga classes today.
That's funny.
So they really
got into it. I
enjoyed.
can
Yeah, they
imagine
really
that.
enjoyed them. So I'm hoping that we'll be able to eventually, resume.
Now, you were
those.
having a golf outing, right, for that, or was it not?
No, we're having a meet and greet this
Next
year.
week.
Because we canceled. You know, we canceled the golf outing during COVID, and
But at
then,
one time you
at
did,
one time
right?
we
I
had
thought-
we
'cause I
had
know we've
5
done so many.
yeah we had 5 golf outings, annual golf outings. So we thought we'd switch it up
Oh,
after
wow.
COVID. Everybody's like, okay, we need a break. Let's switch it up.
Okay.
So we are going to
That
have a
makes
meet and
sense.
greet September 8th in Rochester.
Rochester Beer Company.
Yes,
right?
thank you, because I was like, okay, what's the name of the
I know, I was
company?
just responding to that. So I remember.
Thank you. So
That'd be nice,
yeah, but
yeah.
because we still want to continue to support, and even now with COVID, it's really needed. It's really needed now.
So if someone's listening, they can stop by there on September 8th. is that correct?
Absolutely.
At 5 o'clock, or
Absolutely.
go to the website and register.
Yeah, that would be
And you
great. It's
get-
no charge.
No charge,
but
right.
it would be great to register,
register
just so
and-
we'll know how much
Right,
food
if
to
you're
provide.
interested,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah,
and
that
it's
would be
for
great.
more
Thank you.
support. So there's so many charities, let alone the
I know.
business. I mean, oh my gosh. But is there any other thing you want to tell about Tanya Our Help?
Well, you know what? I just live to give. I
Live to give.
enjoy
Lift as you're
helping
climbing,
people.
right?
Lift is that's my motto. I try to live by it every day. And I love kids. I love to see people give back, especially to kids. Our kids, they have so much exposure, but some things they have too much exposure in. And some things that they need, they don't have the
Right,
exposure.
the leadership
And
and-
so, you know, if I can galvanize people to, you know, help kids and raise money, you know, and I love raising money for
You
kids.
do. Well, on that note, money, the last word of our interview. Thank you so much for being here. As always,
you.
it's so exciting, and you do all of the above. Excellent.
Thanks,
Excellent
Connie.
work.
I appreciate it. It's always great to be on your show.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, and thank you for watching.